Welcome to Author Skill Set Wednesday. Great day, beautiful and sunny outside. Today's quote comes from Roff, who said, "Writers often torture themselves trying to get the words right. Sometimes you must lower your expectations and just finish it." I love that. Hi there, my name is Christopher D'Armandi, and I help authors go from blank page to finished first draft to published book with ease. And one of the ways that I do that is by helping you remove perfectionism from the equation. I want to talk a little bit about a couple of things here. Let me start off with George Plimpton's interview with Ernest Hemingway back in 1958. They were talking about how it took him, 40, 50, 60 revisions to get the end right. And so George Plimpton asks him, "So what was it that had you stumped?" Hemingway's response is brilliant. Getting the words right. So there's a time and place for perfectionism. There really is. And getting the words right is truly a classic writer's problem that everyone stumbles across, me included. But when that struggle is in your final draft, great, because that's where you really need to be paying attention to this. You want to make sure that final draft is the most polished, the most amazing words that you can possibly put out there. So at that stage, embrace your perfectionism wholeheartedly. But when you're struggling to get the words right in your first draft, that's the time that perfectionism will actually destroy you. It's a disease. It's a plague, as I say on the slide. Perfectionism will literally kill your book because you will never, ever get that first draft finished because you think it needs to be perfect. It does not. Let me make that clear. Your very first draft does not need to be perfect. In fact, it shouldn't be perfect. The whole point of a first draft is getting words on the page. So that's no time and no place to be getting lost in the weeds of perfectionism. As I just said, your first draft serves only one purpose only, and that's to get the words out of your head and onto the page. That's it. Anything else is a wasted effort because you're going to be changing this thing probably 100 times before you publish. That's just the reality of revision processes, right? So your first draft should be always all about speed. The faster you can get those words out, the better, because another part of the writing a first draft is you're still trying to figure out what your story is. You're still trying to figure out what it is that you want to say. So to expect that to be perfect in your first draft is simply not realistic. It really isn't. And the other thing I really want you to get a hold of is this idea that your words will never, ever be perfect. I don't care how long you take revising, they're never going to be perfect. And the sooner you accept this, the sooner your life is going to be a whole lot better, at least in terms of writing, I have yet to publish a single thing, not one thing, whether that's a letter to the editor, a blog post, a nonfiction book, fiction book, screenplay, training course, anything. I have yet to publish anything that I didn't think I could improve 2 minutes after I hit the publish button. The same is probably going to be true for you. So let's get this notion that we're going to be perfect out of our heads entirely. It's simply self-defeating. So to that end, I would ask you to do yourself a massive, massive favor. Set an let me try that again in using English real words. Set an absurdly short deadline for your first draft, because this will force you to write it fast. And the faster you can write this, excuse me, the faster you can get your first draft written, the faster you can get onto the revision process where you can start making it all beautiful and closer to perfection. You're never going to achieve it, so let's just accept that. Now, I would also encourage you to use manuscript math to figure out what your first draft deadline should be. Because when you take the number of words you write, your average number of words per hour, and the number of hours you write per day, and you divide that by the total number of words you're attempting to write, you come out with a number. And that number is how many days it will take writing at that speed for that many hours per day to complete your book. It's a very simple thing, and yet it's one of those most brilliant things that I've ever stumbled across, and I use it all the time. It's just such a fun thing to be able to set a finite date and know without a shadow of a doubt that I can achieve that goal. That's the beauty of manuscript math. And then once you've set that deadline, I would dare yourself to beat that deadline by at least 3 days. I want this focus on speed because, as I've already said repeatedly, the faster you get these words out, the better it is. the sooner you can get on to the actual revision processes, which is where your book becomes the masterpiece that it will be. And write your butt off to to achieve this goal. It's a worthy goal. You really want to work hard to get there. The faster you write, the freer the words come. The less inhibitions you have, the less you censor yourself. All these things are good things. And it's a beautiful self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So why the emphasis on speed? I've talked about this already. Your first draft is all about you telling your story to yourself. That's that's a really big concept to grasp. That first draft, you see, as I probably already mentioned a couple times, we're trying to figure out what we want to say, how we want to say it, how can we be more effective. We're trying to figure all those things out, and that's not going to happen in the first draft. I have yet to encounter anyone in person or on the internet who can write a perfect first draft and publish it. Never seen that happen. But because the revision process, that's where your book truly takes shape. That's where you figure out what's missing. You figure out what you're actually trying to say and how best to say it. You're trying to massage all the words and put them all in the right order. All those little things that they're so important on a final draft are also those things that you to get your first draft done, just completely ignore them. They're not relevant at that point in time. And so embrace the revision process when it's time. And its time doesn't begin until after your first draft is complete. All right? So I hope that was useful. I hope you found that entertaining and watching me fumble over my words. If you found this notion interesting, I would love for you to like it and share it with your friends. And if there's something that struck you specifically, if something sort of struck you as being pure gold, or perhaps it blew your mind, I love those fun graphics, then please share that in the comments. I'd love to hear it. And I would also love for you to connect with me on social media, on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all those kind of platforms. You can find links to all of my social media platforms on sleekbio.com/Christopher. Very simple. So just lower those expectations on your first draft. Get the words out. You'll be far happier, trust me. All right? Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Bye for now.